What's up guys and gals, and welcome back to another Division 2 build video. If you happen to be new to the channel, then ground and pound that like and subscribe button, and don't forget to turn on post notifications so that way you know each and every time a video is uploaded or a stream goes live. All you have to do is reach up there and trigger the bell. Also, we have that join membership button, so if you want to contribute to the channel, then all the support and proceeds go directly back into the channel. And for all those that are supporting the channel, thank you guys so much. We're able to get actually a streaming and editing PC, so that way we can better the content of the channel and upgrade the visuals of it. Can't thank you guys enough for that. I appreciate it. But anyways, enough of my rambling. Let's hop into the video. So you can use this build in two different ways. If you don't want to run Survivalist, you can switch to Demolitionist and then just switch out the weapons to LMGs. But basically, the tools and the talents and everything, as you see on the screen, can work for either ARs or LMGs. In this case, I'm showing you the AR version, but like I said, all you have to do is switch Specialist and then pop in the LMGs of choice. Since we already have one Fenris and then, of course, one Petrov, I'm basically going to be using one AR and then, of course, one LMG, as I have been in the raid, and it's been doing really well. So the first option for an AR is the custom P416 at 19.9k base damage with Optimist Allegro, and of course in the attachments we have the C79 scope at 5% damage to elites, plus 10 rounds. I'm still searching for the blueprint for the plus 20 rounds. I have the one for the 7.62 mag for the AK, but I have yet to come across the one for the 5.56. In the underbarrel, 10% reload speed, and then in the muzzle, we have an additional 5% damage to elites. If you prefer the likes of the CTAR due to the rate of fire, then I have this one with Optimist and also with Allegro. And then in Rhythm, while equipped, enemy kills have a 5% chance to refresh active skill cooldowns, can occur once every 60 seconds. In the mods here, we have the low reflex sight that gives you 10% damage to elites, the 5.56 magazine with plus 10 rounds, and then of course the 5% crit chance because I have no other underbarrel attachment other than the laser pointer currently, and then of course in the muzzle, a 5% damage to elites. Like I said, you can also switch to the likes of an AR LMG type style, or if you want to go double LMGs, whatever your personal preference is. But more or less, I will probably be going with an AR LMG setup, so that way I don't have to necessarily run out of ammo as fast, and I can still put out enough damage and to support the rest of my team, and not have to leave the fight in order to run to get ammo because I'm running two of the same type weapons. And if you do that, you're going to be running out of ammo really fast. So it's good to have two different type ammos, so that way you can put out more damage and stay in the fight a lot longer, because it's all about teamwork. Now, I've seen a lot of build videos where people are running Chatterbox LMG, which is, I mean, if that's what your personal preference is, but you're going to spend a lot of downtime on reload, because a lot of people are not even utilizing filler up or things along that nature. And yeah, you still can use the Chatterbox as a secondary and not necessarily have to have filler up, but it will speed up the process and reloading and turn 5-second reload into basically a 2-second reload. So those 3 seconds can be very clutch and valuable. But the sky's the limit. It's whatever you want to do. If you want to run a Nemesis also with an AR, then by all means, I'm on console, so therefore I don't really necessarily stack on headshot damage. I go for base raw damage. But, if I can hit headshots, then, more power to you. Do it as you see fit. This is just my personal preference and playstyle, so tweak it, as you see fit when it comes to what weapons that you actually want to run. But LMGs and ARs of all types will work definitely for this build. So let's hop into the gear itself. We have 316k armor and almost 82k health, 311.4. Starting with the mask, it's a ghillie mask. For having one piece, you get 5% total armor. For two pieces, that 20% hazard protection, which is really nice. And then we just have the additional third piece, not for the Pult skill power, but just because ghillie guard has the tendency to have definitely some defensive Lego mod slots in them, as well as carry a lot of defensive Legos at its baked in attributes. So that way I can hit those marks to unlock certain talents. But we have an additional 10% hazard protection in the attribute, and then 43% damage to elites, and then an additional 10% damage to elites by way of talent, and then a filler utility mod with 90 skill power, 3% explosive damage, and then 2% grenade damage. The second piece is a Ghillie Guard chest piece with 16% total armor, 219 skill power, and then 25,732 additional armor. And we're utilizing Unbreakable. 70% of max armor is repaired when your armor is depleted. Armor kits used within the next 7 seconds are not consumed. It requires 11 or more defensive Legos, and I have 11 exactly. And then we have 2 additional defensive mod slots, 86-63 health, 2% extra incoming healing, and 4% skill health. On the next one, we have 5,096 armor, and then 3% total armor, and then another 5% health regen. So a total for just this one piece alone, you're getting 16 plus the 5 from the one piece ghillie, which is 21, plus the mod, 24% total armor, and then of course that 25,732 armor. So lots and lots of survivability and armor just for this one piece. Now moving on to the third piece. It's Ghillie Guard gloves with 69-65 health, 11% assault rifle damage, and then we are using compensated. Weapon damage is increased by 15% when your critical hit chance is below 20%. 3 or less offensive Legos, and we have 3 exactly. And then we have 74 skill power with 4% explosive damage by way of utility protocol mod. So the premise here is, in order to use Safeguard, you got to have 4 or less offensive, but we'll get to the backpack in a moment. And if we had a weapon damage attribute on our chest piece, then that would put us at 4, and we couldn't use compensated. So the 15% from compensated plus the 11, which is 26 weapon damage just on our gloves alone, kind of compensates for the lack of the weapon damage on our chest piece. Now moving on to that backpack I was talking about. It's a Petrov backpack. The only thing I'd prefer is some have the armor and health stats a little higher, but mainly the weapon damage stat. But we are utilizing Safeguard and of course Hardened. If you prefer and want more damage to elites, then by all means, I just don't have the resources quite yet to actually re-roll Hardened for hard hitting for the extra 10%. But when I do so, that's what I plan on doing. And even though still doing that, I will still be around a little over 280k armor. But this way and how I got it set up so far has been doing really well in the raid. I have tons and tons of survivability and doing plenty of damage. So it just all depends. Right now, I don't think it's necessarily necessary. But in the event that I think I need a little additional oomph when it comes to DPS on the gold elite enemies or NPCs or named bosses, then I will throw that little 10% extra on there. Now moving on to the knee pads. Fenris A and B group knee pads. For 1, you get 10% assault rifle damage, and then for 2, you get an additional 10% protection from elites. The attributes are 11,862 armor with hard hitting and patience. Patience definitely comes in clutch because there are tons of areas to where you need to post up. So while you're posted up, whether it be on the first, second, or third phase, that it will significantly increase your survivability. So definitely have patience on your knee pads in some form or some fashion. If you get the Fenris, it's able to have 2 talents, just as the chest piece are able to have 2 talents on them. So you can utilize it and have patience here and still use something like Unstoppable Force and hard hitting on your chest. But I'm going for more of a survivability issue, more or less along those lines. So that's why I opted into having a Ghillie chest over a Fenris chest piece. But play as you see fit and tweak it as you see fit and make it your own, right? Now moving on to the second Fenris. It is a holster with 31,897 health with 3330 health on a kill. I did have Devastating here for an additional 5% weapon damage, but when it come right down to the brass tacks, the 10% damage to elites, it would be more beneficial than just a mere 5% additive weapon damage, right? So that's why I rolled Devastating off and put damage to elites here. So that covers the gear. So now let's go over to our character sheet. Starting with the P4, as I said, 19.940 weapon damage. Only 5% all weapon damage, 36 assault rifle damage, 316 armor, 81 8 81 984 max health, 43 47 health regen, 30% hazard protection, bleed, blind death, burn, disorient, disrupt, and shock. And then skills, 383 skill power, 4% cooldown, and then you can see the rest. But in case I passed it, 83% damage to elites. Now switching over to the CTAR, it has 88% damage to elites because of the optics give me that 5 additional damage to elites. And then if I happen to roll that hardened into hard hitting on my backpack, that would put it at 98% damage to elites. So we're going to shuffle over to the firing range and shoot some named and some cardboard for you, so that way you can see base damage. And if you actually want to see the build live and in action, then you can tune into the live stream happening tomorrow. So stay tuned for that, and then we'll be actually in the raid, and you can exactly see how this build does in the raid. And I promise you, you will not be disappointed. So see you in a moment. So now we're here at the firing range. It is set to elites first. We'll first start out with the CTAR. Not too bad, 938, 320 DPS at 64 for 64 damage. Not too bad at all. Now for a little bit of distance, if you prefer the P416. As you can see, it has a little bit more in base damage at 7646, and then of course 936,371 DPS. So either or works out really, really well and super. So it just all depends on your personal preference when it comes to what AR of choice that you'd like to play with. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for tuning in. And once again, thank you for all the continuous love and support. I am so blown away at it and very much appreciated. And we'll see you guys in chat on the next live stream or in the comments of the next video. But be sure to comment in the comment section below and let me know what you guys are running in the build. So we'll see you down there.